So, good afternoon, friends. Today we are dealing with moment of inertia of an area. Now, moment of inertia of an area is also known as second moment of area, and it is an important property of areas, and it is used for design of cross section of various components used in a civil structure, such as beams, column. Okay, what are the element in the civil engineering structures which we design? This moment of inertia plays a very important role. So that is the reason we used to find the moment of inertia of any element. Now in our syllabus we have a numericals supposed to be solved, and we have to calculate the moment of inertia of a component structures like L shape, T shape, U shape, C shape. Okay, these are the few uh, elements or shapes in our syllabus for which you are supposed to locate the moment of inertia. Now, here the certain terminology we supposed to be know to proceed ahead with the moment of inertia. Sometimes in the examination, it is also asked to calculate polar moment of inertia, radius of gyrations. So, before to move on, let us know what is polar moment of inertia. Now, polar moment of inertia is defined as moment of inertia about an axis perpendicular to the plane of an area is also known as polar moment of inertia. This is also called as perpendicular axis theorem. Okay, both perpendicular axis theorem and this polar moment of inertia are one and the same. Now next terminology is radius of gyration. The radius of gyration is also defined as the ratio of square root of moment of inertia to its cross-sectional area. It is mathematically represented as k is equal to square root of I by a. The radius of gyration is also denoted as r. Okay, whereas in subtext it is denoted as k. The units for moment of radius of gyration k may be in millimeter, or you can represent it in centimeter or denoted in meter. Either any of the one unit you are supposed to use. Now 99.99% in the examination always they used to ask parallel axis theorem. So just last year in a January month 2020, this theorem has been asked, parallel axis theorem. It is very important in the exam point of view as well as internal point of view. So in the examination, up to 8 marks it is supposed to they used to ask. Plenty of students get confused with parallel axis theorem and this sorry, parallel law of forces. Okay, it is entirely different. Parallel axis theorem is different and parallel law of forces is different. Okay, whenever you come across parallel axis theorem, first you are supposed to write the statement. The mass for the statement is separate, and for a proof it is separate. So the statement goes like this: moment of inertia about an axis in a plane of an area is equal to the sum of moment of inertia about a parallel central axis and the product of area and the square of distance between the two parallel axes. Here is the statement. In the proof, we are supposed to prove moment of inertia about AB, axis AB is equal to IG, that is centroidal moment of inertia about centroidal axis, that is IXX, and plus area into distance between two parallel axes square. Now here is the proof. Whenever in the examination if you come across the parallel axis theorem, first we are supposed to, based on the mass asked, we have to write the description of the figure. Now here I have written consider an area A with a centroid G as shown in figure to find moment of inertia about AB. So I am finding the moment of inertia about base, that is AB. Okay, for which consider an elementary strip area dA at a distance of y from the axis AB as shown in figure. Let CD be an axis parallel to AB and passing through the centroid G of an area A. Let d, small d, be the distance between the parallel axis AB and CD, and y1 be the distance of elementary strip centroid from the central axis CD. Now, by definition, we have a formula IAB, that is moment of inertia about AB is given by integration of y square dA. Let us call it as an equation 1. And here y is nothing but, from this figure, this y is nothing but d plus y1. So here I have written y is equal to d plus y1. That now substitute this d plus y1 in place of y. So equation 1 becomes integration of bracket d plus y1's whole square dA. Now it is in the form of a plus b whole square. Now split into the a plus b whole square formula. D square plus, it is a square plus y1 square plus 2ab. So dy1 into dA. Now I have separated it, integration of d square dA plus integration of y1 square dA plus 2 times of d into y1 dA. Now we know that moment of inertia about central axis, that is Ig, is given by integration of y1 square dA. Now look at here. From this figure I came to know that moment of this elementary strip about the central axis dA into y1 square, because we know that moment of inertia is nothing but second moment of area, moment of this dA about this central axis. So twice second moment, so 2 times we have to multiply, that is the reason dA into y square. Now dA into y1 square is the second moment of elementary strip about central axis, that is Ig. Now here I have written the moment of inertia of area dA about the central axis is Ig. Now this 2 times of integration dy1 dA, here I have written 2 times of y1 dA is the moment of inertia A and its central axis, about its central axis. As the area is always symmetric about the central axis, therefore 2 times of integration of dy1 dA is 0. Now look at here. Here what I am trying to tell is moment of inertia about this area A about the central axis, because the centroid of this area and the central axis CD lies in the same line. So this dot placed here coincide, there is no perpendicular distance, that is the reason the moment of inertia of this area A is 0. Now equation 2, look at here, equation 2 becomes IAB, where because this element is 0, 2 dy1 dA is 0. So therefore, now look at here, in place of d square dA plus integration of y1 square dA, now d square A plus Ig, because integration of dA is A plus, from equation 3 integration of y1 square dA is Ig. So our equation is IAB plus is equal to Ig plus AD square. This Ig can also written as Ix's.